Hello, welcome to our Heritage Works. Today, we're making pumpkin pie. With the holidays coming, everybody loves a good pumpkin pie. This version is gluten-free. The ingredients that we'll be using are 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. We have 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/16 of a teaspoon of clove, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. We have 1.5 cups or a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. We have 2 tablespoons of light corn syrup. We have 1.5 cups or a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, and 2 eggs that will be lightly beaten later. This is an easy recipe. All we need to do to start is bring a bowl over and start with our dry ingredients. And all we're going to do is add them together and then do a really quick stir. And I'm just going to use the whisk on the end of my beater here just to lightly gather the material together. That's all we need. Now that we've got our dry ingredients mixed together, we're going to add all of the remaining ingredients. Let's put in our pumpkin. Make sure your version of pumpkin does not have anything extra added to it, that it's just pure pumpkin. We'll add our sugar. We're going to add our corn syrup. And then I'm going to start beating this and add the milk slowly. That's all there is to it. Now, you'll notice I haven't added the eggs. What we're going to do is we are going to let this sit for about an hour, just at room temperature, until the flavors have a chance to combine together and get used to each other. So it's kind of like leftovers. When they get better the day after or 2 days after, because all the flavors have had a chance to get together, we want to give the pie a chance to absorb those spices and really let that flavor intermix. We will add the eggs just before we add this mixture to the pie shell. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and make some foil strips for my pie crust. And that's just a simple means of folding them over. And then we have a nice foil strip that we can use to protect our crust. It has been an hour, hour and a half, and the mixture has actually darkened slightly in color, which tells me that the flavors have had a chance to flow through. We took the opportunity to have lunch, feed the cats, wash up the dishes that we had already dirtied from making this project. So use that time wisely. Maybe start another meal item, start this in the morning, and then go on to another food item, and then you can put it in the oven as needed. You can put this in the refrigerator up to overnight for these flavors to meld together. Now, I've also taken time to beat up the 2 eggs that I've had ready previously. And I've preheated my oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So all I'm going to do now is start whisking in the egg. The reason I beat the eggs just a little bit was so that I don't have to combine them inside the mix itself. It's already in a liquid state that allows me just to stir it all in. And that's all there is to that. This is a gluten-free pie crust that I found in our frozen section next to where the puff pastries are and that type of thing. I was surprised to see it. I've used this pie crust now a couple of times and I really like the flavor of it. And if you know me, seen my videos before, I am not a baker, but as you can see, it's a nice little pie crust. I am going to put it on this foiled cookie sheet. This is just so that way if it runs over, we've got a place to capture it. Now it's time to fill our pie shell. I'm being careful not to overfill it, but I do want it to be full. It's going to rise just a little bit, but not too much while it's in the oven. Don't worry about what's left over. I'll make something out of it, maybe some cookies or something like that. But as you can see, I've got a nice crust, nice filling. This will go into the oven, like I said, at 425. We'll bake it for 20 minutes. And then we'll lower the heat to 350 for the remainder of the time. Before I put this in the oven, I'm going to take our prepared strips and just put it around the edge. Again, these are just pieces of foil that I've folded up, and I'm using that fold to go above and below the lip of the pie crust. This doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to shield the pie crust that's underneath.